Welcome to my city, a certified hardcore sports town. We champions in all the big four sports now. It's not smart to bet against us, we a force now. We got heart like going for it on fourth down. Ain't nothing soft about us. That Philly pretzel used to doubt us. Now you gotta respect the Philly special. Talking trash, you gon' need a pass, cause my city ride. We fanatics, you don't wanna see our gritty side. Support the colleges, what up the big five? The women too, like Xfinity, we get live. Whether diving for a touchdown, driving to the hole, swing and hit a home run, fire for a goal. We kick it with the union, in the air with the stars. See sports with the fusion, I don't care where you are. You can never be too hype for the team you like. Philly unite, tonight's the night, so let's fight for the Flyers. Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, represent the city and let's do it for the people. We never throw the towel, I come from a proud city. Ring the bell, scream and yell, now say it loud with me. Flyers, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles, represent the city and let's do this for the people. So all Philly fans, let the rest of the world know. Philadelphia fans, the best in the world. Go!
Yo. It's your boy Jamar, Top Shelf Sports Talk. I don't know if y'all can hear my clap. I hear it, but, a lot of y'all don't like the clap when I do the clap. But it's all good. That's one of my signature moves for the show. So I'm going to do it. And right now, I think there's a little difficulties going on with it because my Bluetooth driver is not working on my computer. So you might not have heard it as much as I will want you to hear it. But guess what? I'm still going to play it. At the end of the day, we're here Sunday after my bye week. I was off last week. I didn't do a show last week. I gave you guys a break from hearing me complain and fuss, pull hair out, and be stressed about the gameplay of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that Sunday, it wasn't any better. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't. We playing against the Browns team who struggled and hasn't done anything to start this 2024 season. And although we had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith back, and we had, Lane Johnson, we still, I just don't understand how we don't play to our strengths. Again, it's going to be probably a broken record all season long. Any and every time I go live, we're always going to be talking about doing and playing differently, because you're not playing to your strengths. I don't know if you guys how deep you guys watch, but last week we saw Saquon Barkley kind of bark at Nick Sirianni, and I'm thinking it's because of the lack of the run play. It is the lack of the run play because at the end of the day, you cannot. Saquon Barkley had 18 attempts for 47 yards against the Browns. 18 attempts for 47 yards. You have to dial up something differently when it comes to if they're stopping. Now, don't get it wrong. We understand that the Browns have a good defensive line. Myles Garrett is a beast. You know what I mean? But Kellen Moore is not impressing me because at the end of the day, even though I knew he was pass happy, he has not impressed me. He has not made me feel as though that when we signed him, that I was hyped to see him be a coordinator, especially with the rumors that they were taking the play calling away or the responsibility of play calling from Nick Sirianni. I felt as though Kellen Moore was going to be innovative with this team, doing different, running different packages, motions. We see motion, but it's pedestrian. It's nothing he's doing that's like, yeah, I'm glad we got Kellen Moore. I'm finally glad we got somebody who can run an offense. Through what, 6 weeks? I haven't seen anything. Anything. Jay, good morning, Jason. This is my 18 attempts is a good amount when we don't have a huge lead. If we can get a fast start and get a lead, they will run more. Jay, we go always going to go back and forth when it comes to this. Saquon, you mean to tell me Saquon? So here's the thing. Okay, 18. Let's say 18 to 25 attempts a game. We could do that. We could say that. But here's the thing: you're playing against a team that is pretty much. Good morning, JLA. That's getting ready to fold. You're playing against a team that's getting ready to fold. So like 18 attempts, for me, especially against that team, you should have been doing. You should have ran the ball a lot more than that. Like you should have ran a lot more than that. I believe you try to you try like see for me, I always look at it like this. I always believe that because Nick Sirianni was a wide receiver and because Kellen Moore is pass heavy, they always try to get that passing game going. But you have the last 3 years we had well this year you could say a dominant running back. Last year we had a good running back, and the year before we had a good running back, but we never established the run. With one of the best, if not the best, offensive lines in the league. So Jay, you can say 18 attempts is good. No, you needed to keep running the ball. You need to keep running the ball with Saquon. We see what happens when Saquon Barkley gets consistent touches. We see what he do. There's no excuse. AJ Brown always gonna get his numbers. Devontae will get his numbers. Even Dallas Goedert. But you gotta, if you're not gonna run the ball, like you're being one dimensional, and that's what I always keep telling you and telling the fans, telling anybody who hears the sound of my voice. We are one dimensional with no identity, no identity at all. We can't we are so one dimensional that teams know. All right, well we're gonna come out and stop the pass, and we're gonna blitz Jalen Hurts because they're not gonna run the ball. So let's just blitz Jalen Hurts because he hasn't proven that he can recognize the blitz and be effective against it. I watched Jalen Hurts last week, to be honest, since the season start, if a player is supposed to go to a particular receiver, he locks onto that receiver. He stays with that receiver no matter what, and he throws the ball even if there's 10 or 15 guys around him. He's throwing it. He's still throwing the ball. That to me can't happen. If you're wanting to be an elite quarterback, consider with the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, you know, you gotta be more efficient in your game. You can't be the one that is locking on the receivers and staying with that receiver and not moving off of that receiver. Like your eyes show it all. Jesus says it was 26 pass attempts and 22 runs, including Jalen. That is balanced. They just suck execution wise. Jay, this. All right, so we going like you like the numbers of it, right? I don't even see. Here's my point. I don't think Jalen Hurts should be running the ball as much. I mean, I really don't think Jalen Hurts should be running the ball as much. I mean, because at the end of the day, what happens to him if he gets hurt running the ball? What do we do then? And we have two good running backs. Saquon Barkley, Kenneth Gainwell. Put Jalen Hurts under center, hand the ball off. When it's time to throw the ball, you throw the ball. But we can't like the numbers. Yeah, if all we looking for is just the numbers, then we're never going to execute. Like you said, we suck at execution. We're looking at just the numbers and saying like, all right, if I rush 22 times, then my numbers are good. But if I'm rushing 22 times doing nothing, then what are we doing? We're barely beating these teams that we should be beating. The Giants game today, you can't sit here and tell me that you are confident that we go out and steamroll the Giants. But I guarantee you, like other teams, like what you call it, the Chiefs and teams, the good teams, that can go out and say we're gonna steamroll who we supposed to steamroll. We're gonna beat who we supposed to beat. You can't with no certainty saying that yeah the Eagles are gonna go out and steamroll the Giants today. A team that is clearly not on the same level as the Eagles, a return home for Saquon Barkley. But you have no confidence saying yes, we're gonna go out there and steamroll them. They ain't got nothing. They can't stop us. We would all like to see it happen as Eagles fans because like since the end of last year, since that 6-game losing streak that we went on, we all been pulling our hair out, like trying to figure out what is going on, and it's carried over to the season. So for me, numbers don't matter. You got to call the right plays. Jalen Hurts got to be right. He got to be better now. Again, he didn't turn the ball over last week, which was a plus. He didn't turn the ball over last week. He was dropping the ball in the basket to AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert when he had to. But for me, like I'm telling you, like I just believe that the play calling sucks, and the play calling is not the way it needs to be an elite team on paper. Now we can't judge anything by on the field, but on paper, we have the best team, one of the best teams on paper. Offensive line, tight end, running back, receivers, and quarterback. Like we keep staying with the philosophy of run or set up. Like Jason, you always said, is set the run set the pass up to establish the lead and run the ball to sustain it. I just want to ask you a question. When over the last how many games? We're 3-2. This is 5. Over the last 11 games, and even you can go even further than that. Have you seen that philosophy actually work for us and for what we are built on? Tell me when you've seen that. What game have you? The last game you seen that philosophy work? Like at the end of the day, like we got to switch it up. You got to play to the strengths of your team. You got to use Saquon Barkley like you need to use him. You do. At the end of the day, if you don't, we're gonna be in for a long season where we're pulling our hair out every game because we're losing or just barely beating teams that we should be beating. We're barely beating teams that we should be beating. That happened all that we lost to the Cardinals, we lost to the Giants, we lost to teams last year, the Seahawks. We lost to teams last year that we should have been taking. We should have just been demolishing. But we're playing this pass happy offense to get a lead, and we're not getting a lead because a lot of the times, with the exception of the last game, we're seeing Jalen Hurts turn the ball over. Like I said this too in other videos in the past. Like, take the pressure off Jalen Hurts. Stop making that man think so much when it comes to that passing game. Get the pressure off him. Run the ball. Run the ball call more effective running plays. Bounce to the outside. Do something different. Because like I said, at the end of the day, what's going to happen to us as Eagles fans, we're going to be pulling our hair out every single game that we play. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us, as as the years are going on and the older we're getting, we don't have too much hair left to keep pulling out. I cut most of my hair off. I cut all my hair off, to be honest. Not because of the Eagles, but because, I just didn't. I was tired of it. But if I did have that hair still on my head, it would be down to this, watching the Eagles play, watching the Eagles do what they do. You would definitely, my hair would definitely be down to this without even getting a haircut. It would be this low without getting a haircut because I'll sit here every Sunday and I watch the Eagles just basically be mediocre every Sunday. And it drives me crazy. Now, the one thing I would say coming out of the bye that I was kind of happy to see, or not happy to see, maybe it's a setup because people think it's a setup. I was actually because I did a video when Jalen Hurts was talking about they were asking him what he would do differently on his bye week with Nick Sirianni to try to kind of create an identity, and his response was, "We have our moments." And so coming out of bye, I was happy to see that Jalen Hurts didn't go away on the bye. He stayed local, and him and Nick Sirianni kind of worked out whatever issues and differences they had. Now, like I said, people are saying that that's a setup. I mean, because we've seen Nick Sirianni on that field act like a fool with fans. Like, bro, at the end of the day, like, you have no room to go on the sideline or go to anywhere near a fan and argue about anything that fan is saying. I don't care if he's telling you that you need to lose your job. What you have been doing and what you have been displaying out there on that field, yeah, you might your job is in question. You're on the hot seat. You're on the hot seat, and I guarantee you this: if you keep playing the way you play, if this team keeps underachieving or not achieving the way they need to be achieving, you're gone after the end of the season. The only thing that's going to save your job is just getting a win. Get the win, you'll save your job to the end of the season. But if you're barely like we go out today and we lose or we barely beat the Giants, dude, you're on the hot seat. You can't argue with no fan. Sirianni and Dime got to go. Why Dime got to go? He ain't did nothing. Why? He's the security. Dime ain't got to go. He's the security, man. You know, I think you might be mad at Dime because he got in your boy face last year. Where was it? Debo? He checked Debo, told Debo, you better watch yourself. You know what I mean? Like Dime bag mojo. What you mean? Tell me what you mean by that. No, it was Greenlaw. Okay, Greenlaw. He checked Greenlaw last year. Told Greenlaw, you better relax, bro. This ain't that. And technically, he shouldn't have been disqualified for that because all he did was break the fight up. They the NFL was rigged when it came to that. All he did was break the fight up. Bad mojo. Nah, I don't think he's bad mojo. And honestly, I think that's what they say is when it comes to Nick Sirianni, he gets his confidence off of him because he believes that Big Dom is going to protect him. He's going to be obviously he's like his bodyguard. You know what I mean? So I don't agree with that. I think Dom is cool. Dom would be cool no matter what. Nick Sirianni better get his act together because at the end of the day, like I said, you can't argue with a fan who's calling for your job when you're performing like your job is on the line. Like your job is actually on the line, so you have no room to go at any fan who's saying anything about your job when you haven't did anything to secure your job. Like, and last week was blatantly obvious that you haven't done anything to secure your job. No, he pushed him. If he just broke it up, would have been fine. That push got him disqualified. He pushed both guys though. He pushed both guys. He didn't like push Greenlaw like with some aggression. He had one hand on Greenlaw, one hand on I forget who was the other guy, but he had one hand on each other. That was corny. Now I've been there before Sirianni. Yeah, he has. Sirianni is not a good coach. No, he's not. I mean, I think well, obviously that year he went to the Super Bowl, he was led by his coordinators, and we see his coordinators out there right now looking a lot better. If they, I think if I think if and y'all can argue me down if y'all want. I think if not Jonathan Gannon, Shane Steichen had this team, this Philadelphia Eagles team, I think we'd be a lot better positioned than we are now under Nick Sirianni. You can't put an aggressive hand on any other athletes. That's their rule. Yeah, but I mean, is I don't think it was really an aggressive hand. I just think that he was breaking up the fight, and at the end of the day, like two players are pushing at each other. I think he was just trying to get them away from each other, get them off of each other, so it doesn't escalate. You know what I mean? And Greenlaw got in his face because he was mad. You know what I mean? So I don't think it was an aggressive hand to me. You know what I mean? Um, Neighbors back and Singletary is going to be. Listen, we got Quavion Mitchell. I don't know if you've been watching anything, with the Eagles, any games that the Eagles been playing. Quavion Mitchell has been locking down. I don't think Slay is playing today, so we're going to see either Isaiah Rogers or Kelly Ringo. We're going to see the Young Bucks. We see uh Slay on Michael Parsons' podcast talking about how the Young Bucks is, he ain't mad if they push him out because the Young Bucks are playing good. The Young Bucks are doing. That's what he's there to help them. Man, we got to we getting a shoving match at the Rumble. You out of control. Slade trying to get traded. I don't know if he's not getting traded to a contender. What will be the point? You know what I mean? I don't think he necessarily wants to be traded, but I know he knows that it could come depending on how the Young Bucks are playing, the position of the team. What is going on. So he knows it can happen because, like I said, the young Quavion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. You seen Cooper DeJean come in last week and just Avante Maddox is like, your job is done. You know what I mean? You're coming sparingly. Man, you seen the hit from Ringo. Yeah. Ringo laid a bomb. Yeah, he did. He had a crazy hit. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, like we got enough. See, and this is my problem when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. We are. How many years have we been able to say we've had top tier cornerbacks? I think the last time we were able to really say that we had two top 10 quarterbacks or two solid cornerbacks, period, was probably Lito Shepard and Sheldon Brown. That was probably the last time we could say that we had two solid cornerbacks. And now it seems like we got a bunch of competition at the cornerback position. Young, and they all young. And that's my problem with the Eagles. Like you have a bunch of talent on your team, but you're playing as if you don't know who is who and what is what. Me personally, I just don't understand it. Division games are the hard. Yes, division games are the hardest games. I agree with that because, like I say, we watched the 49ers lose to the Vikings. I mean, and don't get it wrong, Sam Darnold has been balling this year, but nobody thought that was going to happen. And I think when y'all did play him, y'all had a bunch of injuries, but division games is the hardest. And like I say, when you got a division game now against like a team like the Giants, right? And they all professional teams. And Smitty said this in the interview the other day. He said, we all professionals. Everybody's professional and at this point for a reason. So it's hard to say you can blow every team out or blow teams out. I do understand what he was getting at, but the point is that you're not playing the style of football that you were built on. You're not playing that style of football, and that's the biggest issue. Now, if you lose, I mean, if you beat a team by a field goal, but you've been playing the style of football that you were built on, then all right. It's a hard, especially division wise, it's hard fought. Okay, you got to see those guys twice a year. You know what I mean? So we can understand that, but like even with the 49ers, I hate using them as an example because I hate the 49ers, but look at how they play. CMC is touching the ball. Chris, Debo, Ayuk, Jennings, like Kittle. They're utilizing everybody. The only problem with the 49ers, and I'm not hating on them, I just don't like how, like, Bob, I respect you because you always here, you always talking your talk. There's just a lot of the other fans a lot of the other 49er fans that are always, hiding and tucking their tails when it comes down to it. But the only thing that they don't do well, and that's on their coaching, is be able to win when it counts. We always see Kyle Shanahan even back when he was with the Falcons as the offensive coordinator, choke in big moments. He choked at that Super Bowl. I think I don't know if he choked that Super Bowl when he had who did he have Garoppolo, but I know he dag sure choked last year. How do you not know the rules of overtime in a Super Bowl game? How do you not know that stuff? So like what I'm comparing is the fact that that team will utilize everybody on that team to be able to win. They got a running back who nobody even heard of up until last week when he got hurt, or the week before that he got hurt. He was dominating. He made a name for himself because Kyle Shanahan said, "Well, we're going to run the ball still. Yes, CMC's not here, but we're still going to run." What do our Philadelphia Eagles do? We have Saquon and say, "You know what? No, we cool. We just gonna keep passing it to AJ, keep passing it to Devontae, keep passing it to Dallas Goddard, and then once we get up 21 to nothing, then we'll start feeding the ball to Saquon." But in the meantime, we don't get up 21 nothing. Well, and we wind up being down 21 nothing. Now we still got to keep throwing the ball because we got to get some points on the board. Like, the philosophy stinks. And I swear, I hope all of y'all that's on here liking this video, sharing this video, because somehow it got to get back to the Eagles organization that it's not working. Stop trying to set up the pass to establish a run, especially if you're setting up or establish the pass to get leads, to generate leads. It's not working. Again, like I say Jalen Hurts is my quarterback. He's a Philadelphia Eagle quarterback. I'm not hating on him, man. But the game needs to be slowed down for him because he's not doing what a great quarterback should do in those moments. He's locking on to receivers and throwing the ball in double, triple coverage, which is generating turnovers and putting us behind the eight ball. You might have to go simple to then go to get his mind together to then get complicated. I think that's what Shane Steichen did when he went to Nick Sirianni that year we went to the Super Bowl and told him, "Give me the play calling. I got it. I know." A lot of times we saw them run the ball first and then pass. You got to take some pressure off of Jalen Hurts. He's not performing the way we need him to perform when you put all that pressure on him and you're making him pass the ball. You're doing him a great disservice. Because, like, again, especially if no one is getting open, he's not looking for his check down. A lot of times he's going to take off and run, and then he gets hit, he gets hurt. There goes our season. Our season is in the books right now. And a lot of y'all will be so upset and mad at the Eagles organization, Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, that I would sit back and tell y'all I said that all season long. All season long, I've been telling y'all the same thing. Like I say, if you're a great coach, you adapt to your team's needs, or you adapt to your team's strengths. You don't stick with one philosophy and try to drive that home. It doesn't work. It is not working. You see the results. Like I said, you should not be barely beating teams. You should not be just barely beating teams that you should have been beat. You should beat. Like, yes, they are professional. Yes, they have professional players on that team, on that other team, but you should not just barely beat teams. You shouldn't. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care if y'all want to argue with me and tell me I'm wrong. Tell me like any team, like the Giants today, 1 o'clock game should be a game where as though Saquon Barkley has 20 to 25 attempts, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. That should be his stat line. That should be his stat line. He's going back to the team that drafted him, that didn't value him to give him another contract or pay the man. They paid Danny Dimes over it. You should utilize that. If you're Kellen Moore, you should say, "I am doing everything Saquon today. I'm going to make that team really miserable about how they did Saquon Barkley. So I'm going to give the ball early and often to him, call plays for him, and I'm gonna let the troops know. Don't be mad, but we're gonna feature Saquon today. Y'all gonna get y'all touches. Don't worry about it. Y'all gonna get y'all touches, but Saquon is gonna have a 20 to 25 attempts, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns. That and we're gonna go out and we're gonna dominate this team. We're gonna go out and dominate this team. That's just how I feel. Y'all can tell me I'm wrong or not, but like at the end of the day, I can debate that. If I'm wrong, what y'all seeing on the field right now ain't right. It's not right. So what y'all seeing, what they've been doing over the last, what is it, 12, 13, 14 weeks since last year, dating back to last year, hasn't done nothing for them. They had Baker Mayfield out there looking like Tom Brady. Like, so you got to change the philosophy. You got to change the way you think. You go down 21 nothing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now you can't do what you want to do because you decided not to run the ball the first, pretty much the first half of the game. You decided not to run the ball. That to me is a bad philosophy. So that's what I'm saying. We can argue this all day long. Not running the ball is a bad philosophy. Coming out trying to establish the pass to try to get a lead, the philosophy stinks. Sorry, Jay. You my brother. I love you. But the philosophy stinks, bro. We got to change that up. We got to switch that up. And again, like I said, until they do that, every week it's going to be like a broken record. Y'all going to hear me on here saying the same things because whether we win, lose, or draw, I can guarantee you that they stick with their game plan. They're not going off of it, and that's the reason why we're in that position. That's the reason why that particular game was close. Like you got to switch up. You got too many dynamic players on offense to not have teams on the hill. We got Jahan Dotson, and I know 95% of y'all out there. When we got not Jahan Dotson, we said, "Oh, we got three solid receivers, three solid receivers." They have not gone to Jahan Dotson at all. Last game, he had one catch for 13 yards. Like, where's the play call for Kellen Moore? You're a pass happy coordinator. Why aren't you getting Jahan Dotson involved? Why aren't you using those weapons to your advantage? Again, like I'm telling y'all, we can argue it all day long. But the facts is, what they done up until this point has not translated into any solid victories, any good wins, nothing. Like, yes, we're getting W's, but the W's are coming with a cost. That's just my opinion. So again, I appreciate that was the first half of the show. I appreciate everybody, Jason, Bobby, everybody who's been talking back and forth with me, man. We're going to debate this. We're still Eagles fans at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what, we all we want is the victory, but we want a victory to where as though we don't have to pull our hair out to get. That's the point we're arguing. No, don't have to pull your hair out to get a victory. That's what we want. We want to play the style of football that we know we can play. And like I say, I know we can go out. Like we should go out definitely at 1 o'clock and dominate the New York Giants. We should go out and really dominate the New York Giants. But that remains to be seen. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, we get ready to go into the pick'em section of the show. And shout out to Belinda B last week. The first time ever somebody had 14 or somebody went perfect. She had 14 wins, 0 losses. She picked the perfect game. And us fellas who sit back and watch the games and study these games and know the players and who's on injured list and this and that third, ain't none of us fellas ever got a perfect season or perfect pick'em week. So shout out to you, Belinda, and shout out to everybody that's been playing all year long. Everybody's been in and out, but I appreciate everybody who's been on and who's been supporting it. And like I said, you said that's crazy how she do that. My brother says go Belinda. You know what, Jay? I think us as men has to respect the fact that some women know more about football because not even about like the see. I don't want you to think that like the stats or like the ends. Like they just know. I guess they got an intuition of who gonna win and who gonna lose. So like I mean, it's been women that's been doing this pick'em that's been placed higher or picking better than a lot of us men. And we watch these games. We sit here. You see me in the background. You see my TVs in the background. Got the games on. And listen, I never predicted a perfect pick'em week. Never. So shout out to Belinda. She definitely did it. She definitely did her thing. Um, but anyway, we're going to go forward into week 7, which we saw Thursday night that the Denver Broncos beat the New Orleans Saints. They dominated them. They did some. They did them dirty. And I'm hearing that Alvin Kamara is asking for a trade because I believe they're getting ready to go into rebuild mode. Because again, like I tell you guys, when the Saints started out this year, um, everybody was like, because I think they had like 45 or 95 points in like 2 games or 3 games because they were dominating in the beginning. And I was like, it's always a team every year that start out like light with a lightning in a bottle, then they fizzle out at the end, and we're starting to see that the Saints are that team right now. I actually thought it was going to be the Vikings too, but the Vikings are playing some good football. You can't hate on the Vikings right now. The Vikings are looking absolutely good, But we saw Denver beat the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. Moving to today, the 9:30 game, which is on now, which is on behind me. Um, we see. I think I can't remember who's winning that game. I don't know. I don't know who's winning that game. If anybody's watching, let me know who's winning that game. But New England Patriots versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Who do y'all have? Who do y'all think is going to win that game? Good morning, mother. You say Jacksonville. Are you picking Jacksonville to win, or are you saying that they winning? Oh, they're winning. They're winning. Jacksonville is winning. Jacksonville is winning. So we'll see Jacksonville winning already, 25-10. So if you haven't been watching that game, go ahead and tune into that game because it's on now, 9:30 London game. Um, Jaguars, yeah, 25-10. And I thought and I said this earlier, if Jaguars were to lose that game, I think that Doug Peterson would have been done. He would have been done as a head coach. Because he's another coach on the hot seat. All right, next game, Seattle at Atlanta. Seattle Seahawks at the Atlanta Falcons. Um, Atlanta Falcons defense to me is is a good defense. Seattle always had a good defense. Geno Smith has been playing good, but I think Seattle is not. Seattle is another team. They kind of started out okay, but I think they'll start to even out as the year goes on. I don't have much confidence in Seattle being a contender because I think they're still a couple of players away from being, a good team. So I'm picking Atlanta on that game. My mom picks Atlanta. Jason picks Seattle. I just think Atlanta is going to come into their own and really start as the season progresses. I think they just that defense is just going to be even more better than it's been to start the year. Um, Next game, Tennessee at Buffalo. Tennessee Titans at the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, OJ, you changed to Atlanta. Okay, you got Atlanta. I say I say Buffalo just got Amari Cooper. Josh Allen got another. He got a number one. I think Josh Allen after they let go of Diggs or traded Diggs, getting Amari Cooper and the way they've been playing to start the season just only gives them a boost. I go Buffalo in that game. Tennessee might be another one of those teams that's going to be rebuilding for the future. There's talks of them trading DeAndre Hopkins. So, they might be tucking it in after this game, especially if they lose. So I'm going Buffalo. I think Buffalo will win that game. Cincinnati at Cleveland. Jason says Bills. My mom says Bills. Um, Cincinnati at the Cleveland Browns. Again, we just saw Amari Cooper get traded to the Buffalo Bills, and that team, Deshaun Watson, that contract, the way he has that team locked in, that team is not. That team is going to be in trouble for years to come. We know that because that contract Deshaun Watson has is just ridiculous. I think he's like 73 million next year, and he's done nothing. My mom says Cincy. Jason says the Bengals. I go to Bengals in that game too. I have no confidence in Cleveland. And I'm gonna say this real quick, and you heard it here first. If that Cleveland Browns team decides to blow it up and trade some of its key players, I would love. I don't know what you would have to put together, how much you would have to give. I would love to see the Eagles go after Miles Garrett. I would love to see the Eagles grab Miles Garrett. We need pass rushing. He would be the excellent pass rusher. I would love to see the Eagles get Miles Garrett. You heard it here first. If it happens, give me the credit. I said it. I'm speaking into existence. Y'all say it too. Type it in the chat. Speak it in existence. Miles Garrett to the Eagles. Um, Next game, you said I said that when we played them. Yeah. We if we had Miles Garrett in the Eagles uniform, I think that will push us over the edge. I've always said, even though we have a good offense, we got a great offense. You know the talent that we have on the offense. I always said our defense is going to be the one that's going to carry us through. If we get Miles Garrett, definitely our defense is going to be one of the top defenses in the league. And also, what's his name? Chase Young. Like I don't know. I would go after Chase. I would give Chase a shot depending on what the Saints want for him. I'll give Chase a shot. Um, Next game is Houston at Green Bay. That would take our D to another level with him and Carter. Yeah, it would. It definitely would. You know what I mean? Houston at Green Bay. My mom says Green Bay. I say Houston. I think Houston. It's going to be a close game because those are two young and up and coming teams, and I think Houston has the edge. Though I just for whatever reason I like that D'Amico Ryan's factor as the head coach of the Houston Texans. I just think that they figure out a way to beat the Green Bay Packers. Yep, my mom and Jason both go with Green Bay, which is cool. I understand. I mean, you can't count on Jordan Love. Jordan Love has been playing some good, football ever since he's got back after that injury. Um, but I think that Houston you know, um, with C.J. Stroud and Stephon Diggs in the receiving core, especially if they run the ball with Joe Mixon. I don't know if Joe Mixon is back healthy, but if they run that ball with Joe Mixon, um, I like Houston to beat that team. Miami at Indianapolis Colts. Miami at the Indianapolis Colts. Green Bay, yeah, Green Bay is at home. Yeah, they are at home. So I still don't think that's a fact. I don't really think that matters. I mean, I think, like I said, they're two young and up and coming teams. They got two. That's a team with two good. They got good, good defense, good offense. Both of those teams are they're going to be good they're going to be set up for years to go. But I just think Houston is just better right now. I think Houston is not as by much. I just think Houston is better right now. My mom picks the Colts, um, and Jason picks the Colts. Yeah, Miami they're struggling without Tua, and from the way what's his name, Mike Daniel, whatever his name is, constructed that offense, it seems like only Tua can play in that offense. Um, and they said Tua's trying to come back. They was trying to get him back for this game, or he was trying to get back for this game, but I think they held him out for another week, and he'll probably be back next week. Um, but Miami without Tua, and that's not to say that Tua is this all pro style quarterback. Like, he's the best ever. It's just that the way their offense is, and I thought um, Tyler Huntley, when they got him from the Ravens, I thought that he would be able to come and do and come and sustain some of that offense that the Dolphins has coached. Mike McDaniels has coached for that team. I thought he would be a good fit for them, but it's not working out. So I have no confidence until Tua come back, and then Tua's coming back when it's starting to get cold out. So that's another factor to keep in mind because the Dolphins do not play well when it's cold. So I would go Colts in that game too. I like the Colts in that game. The next game is Detroit at Minnesota. This is going to be probably the game of the week besides the rematch of the Super Bowl. But Detroit at Minnesota is not it's not something that you can just confidently say either team is going to win. My mom says Minnesota. Jason says Detroit. Me, I think I did a pick 'em section on hold on, I'll tell you. I did a video where I'll outline my picks, and if anybody wants to cheat, you can go look at that video and get your ideas because I'll be doing week 8. I figured out how to do it, so I'll be doing week 8 next week. Y'all can watch that video before y'all submit y'all picks, and y'all probably gonna win. Um, but I picked Minnesota in that game. You know, Detroit is a good football team. They're coached well, but Aiden Hutchinson is out with a broken leg. That's going to hurt them. So I think Sam Darnold keeps his momentum going with his connections to Justin Jefferson. I think Minnesota upsets Detroit. I think Minnesota upsets Detroit. I could be wrong. Like I said, this is probably going to be the game of the week, other than the Super Bowl rematch of the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. But this is going to be a good game either way. Um, all right, our next game is our game, our Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. Again, I know a lot of us are going to pick the Eagles. I'm picking the Eagles. This is one of those games that should be a win. You should be like, this is a win for the Birds, but we can't confidently say that the Birds was going to go out and win this game, which is terrible as a team because these teams like this, even though they're professional, you should be able to say, you know what, they're underachieving, they're not playing good football. We should go out and do what we need to do on them. We should go out and just win the game outright. It shouldn't even be close. Would you say how you call a 5-0 team beating a 4-1 team an upset? I didn't call it an upset. I said you can't be upset at either one of these teams if they lose or win. I didn't say it's an upset. Like obviously the Minnesota Vikings are a good team, but they could run into a roadblock too. We know nobody saw this coming. I'm not saying it's an upset. I said you can't be upset if they lose, or you can't be upset if the if Minnesota, I mean if Detroit wins. That's what I was saying about that. Like it's going to be a good game either way. Jason says the Eagles. So true. The Eagles scared. Yeah, I'm scared too. Because at the end of the day, like again, it's no disrespect to a team like the Giants because you are professional players and you are in that position for a reason. So there's no disrespect when I say this, but we're supposed to be in a better position to win a game against a team like the Giants than it is for the Giants to beat us. So, and I understand we all professionals. They all professionals out there. You're in that because you're on that field for a reason because you were good enough to be there. But again, we all know that certain teams either they have it or they don't have it. And right now, the Giants are a team that don't have it, and we should take advantage of that. But that remains to be seen. Like I said, coaching has to change. The mentality of what we're calling out there on the field has to change. You have to do things. You have to call plays differently. You have to use your weapons to the best of your ability or their ability to put yourself in the best chance to win games. That's just my thought process. You know what I mean? Like I said, any of y'all can debate me and tell me I'm wrong, but I would tell you that what you've watched so far has us with comments like what my mom's saying, scared because we don't know. We don't know what we're going to see. Um, the next game, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Rams. Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Rams. Now the Raiders, even though if he didn't get traded, he still probably would be out with a hamstring. But we saw Devontae Adams, one of the best receivers in the league, get traded to the Jets with his former teammate Aaron Rodgers. The Raiders are one of those teams that are in rebuild and that are looking towards the future to try to better their team. So, with that being said, the Rams are a good team. I don't know if Cooper Kupp and them are back, but Rams to me are a way better team than the Raiders. So I'm picking. My mom picks the Rams. Jason, I mean, I guess you're looking at. Tell me if I'm wrong, Jay. Is your thought process with this pick that you got rid of Devontae Adams, you might be able to catch lightning in a bottle, or somehow get a rally win for Antonio Pierce. What's your thought process with that pick when you pick the Raiders? Because like I think that they're starting Aiden O'Connell. Like they don't have a real good quarterback. They lost their best receiver. Like, what's your thought process when it comes to picking the Raiders over the Rams? I need to know. Um, Next game, Carolina Panthers at the Washington Commanders. Carolina Panthers at the Washington Commanders. Carolina, I mean, the Red Rifle has been looking good. Red Rifle has been looking good. I like the way Red Rifle has come in and rallied that team behind him. He's dropping. He's been looking good. It's sort of like what Andy Dalton looking in Minnesota. It just hasn't translated into wins. That team that just doesn't have the right amount of talent that they need for a guy like Andy Dalton to make it to turn into wins. So that team is always going to struggle. I guess they're another team that's in rebuild. They've been in rebuild for the last 3 years. Bryce Young, I was hearing rumors that they might trade Bryce Young before the deadline. I mean, he just hasn't been the quarterback they thought he was going to be. And I know they're mad because they picked him over C.J. Stroud, and you see the success that C.J. Stroud is having. We all pick. I pick Washington. We all pick Washington in that game. I think the Washington, Jaden Daniels is going to be a problem, especially for the Eagles, because Washington it's a division game. Again, they play us tough. And Jaden Daniels is nice. As long as they can protect Jaden Daniels, I think they're gonna be all right. I think Washington's gonna be all right. As long as they can protect him. Keep a running game around him, protect him. He got good receivers. I think Jaden Washington Commanders have something to build on for the future. So I mean, again, I'm a Philadelphia fan. I don't want to see it happen, but if I'm not hating, I want to tell you that's what's going to happen. He's a good quarterback. He's been a good quarterback so far. Um, Next game, the last game of the 4:25 or 4 o'clock hour, Kansas City Chiefs at the San Francisco 49ers, a rematch of the Super Bowl last year. Um, and me personally, I'm going Kansas City. 49ers have been banged up this year. I don't know if CMC is back, but again, once you put pressure on Brock Purdy, he looks like a deer in headlights. Bobby, if you're out there, if you're watching still, I think if you put pressure, anytime Brock Purdy goes against a team with a good defense, he struggles. If you have a good defense, he struggles. And I'm not saying that could be the same for Jalen. Obviously, that's the same for Jalen Hurts. So you don't got to see in the comments say, "Well, what about Jalen Hurts?" Yeah, I understand that too. But again, Brock Purdy. Everybody thinks that Brock Purdy is the second coming to Joe Montana and Steve Young. He's not. He's not. Like I said, he's a good quarterback. He has good weapons. I think he struggles against teams with good defenses, which means I think he's going to struggle right now against the Chiefs. So My mom says San Francisco because Kansas City is due for a loss, and this is the week. I would argue with that thought process, Mom. Again, Belinda went 14-0 last week. You proving me wrong when the Giants played the Cleveland Browns. I thought that pick when you made that pick was the wrong pick. You were obviously right. It would be hard for me to say that you're wrong on this pick. I'm not going to say that you're wrong on this pick. I'm just going to let you have your pick and say that that's what you want and that's who you picking to win the game. I understand, but me, I think I'm going to Chiefs. I'm going to Chiefs in that game because I think the Chiefs is just the better team, and I think they will have Brock Purdy struggling because of their defense. So I'm going Chiefs. Mama knows best. You're right. Again, you're right. I'm not even going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that. Um, the next game is the 8:20 game. The New York Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. She said, I feel like your mom, but the 49ers banged up. Yeah, 49ers are banged up. And like I said, I think the Brock Purdy going against a good defense, he would struggle. Um, but my mom picks, Jason picked the Jets. My mom picks the Steelers. Steelers got Russell Wilson starting today. I believe he's starting over Justin Fields. I don't even know what Justin Fields did to get put on the bench. I thought he played pretty good the first 6 weeks of the season. I thought he did pretty good. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Justin Fields, to me, I don't think he was the issue. Like Jason, if you know something different, let me know. And Jay, I'm still waiting for you to tell me what was your thought process between the Raiders picking the Raiders over the Rams. I want to know what your thought process was when it comes to that. But Jason picks the Jets. I say the Jets too in that game. I'm picking the Jets in that game as well. Monday night, we got a doubleheader. We got Baltimore Ravens at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We saw Tampa Bay put 51 up on the Saints. What was it, last week? Put 51 up on them guys? I mean, Baker Mayfield is probably having the best career or best season of his career right now. I mean, he definitely shredded the Eagles. He's definitely been looking like a good quarterback. It's hard my mom says Tampa Bay, but it's hard to say that Tampa Bay won't win this game. But again, the Ravens are like the Eagles. You got Derrick Henry. If it's a heavy run Derrick Henry game, I think that you win that game. I'm going the Ravens in that game because I think they'll run the ball with Derrick Henry a bunch that game, wear that defense down, and win. I feel like they coach, and I think he's going to galvanize the team after getting rid of Devon. Okay, so it's like you're saying like a morale victory, like a moral victory, like they're just going to rally behind the coach and try to get the win. I understand that. That's the only way they will be able to do it, but I understand it. Jason picks the Ravens in that game. Um, Last game of the Monday night schedule is the LA Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals. Um, I'm gonna just tell you, I'm going Cardinals. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing, I'm going Cardinals. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing, I'm going. I like that hookup. Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. Ever since the second week, he been on fire until he went out with that concussion. I like that hookup. What do you think about that FF butt whooping I gave you last week? You know what, Jay? We can get into that, but you with me with fantasy, I get a lot of injuries. It's up and down. Like I never can get it right to where I'm picking the right players. Like I got to go in there and set my lineup today, but it's hard sometimes because injuries kill you. You know what I mean? It killed me for the first couple of weeks, but we'll see. We'll see. Good win, good victory. Like I said, I'm picking Cardinals that game. Jason picking Cardinals. My mom is picking Cardinals. But scared with them too. Yeah, Cardinals are. I mean, they're one of those teams that you can say that they're not a consistent football team yet, but they're making strides to get there. Jonathan Gannon has done a good job so far as him being a head coach of that team, and you still got to respect them because they're getting to that point where they're going to be a good football team overall. Yes, they do. Yes, they do hurt. me a couple weeks. Yeah, you know, injuries hurt. You know what I mean? When you playing fantasy football, those injuries, they kill you. They can make or break your season. You know what I mean? Especially if you ain't got any good players on the waiver wires, it'll be hard for you to, you know, recuperate from some of them injuries. You know what I mean? Because you know, if you're losing in the interim, when it comes to that, it's hard to catch up. You know, so anyway, that is this week's show. I did my hour. I'm hoping that after when the 4 o'clock hour starts, I'm hoping that the Eagles are victorious. I'm hoping that this little bit of hair I have on my head is still there. I'm hoping that it's one of those victories where I can just smile the rest of the week because I know we did what we supposed to do. Thanks, Mom. And we got a victory. So again, if you're watching me and you're watching my face, please tap the screen, share the live, share it on your platform. Um, Tell everybody about it. Again, like I said, this helps me grow. This helps me push out to other people who may not know about the show. So if you guys can keep liking, keep sharing, keep tapping the screen as much as you can, I greatly appreciate it. Follow all my platforms. I'm on TikTok, Top Chef Sports Talk 1, Facebook, Instagram, Top Chef Sports Talk. YouTube, especially, like I said, if you haven't dropped a follow on YouTube, please go on YouTube and subscribe to the page, Top Chef Sports Talk. Like all the videos, and like I said, I'm gonna keep working, keep grinding, trying to get the platform to grow and grow and grow and grow. But it doesn't grow without the support of you guys. So I appreciate all you guys have been doing with the pick'em, playing in the pick'em. It's been fun. Like I said, there's a $100 gift card on the line for the winner at the end of the season of pick'em. Now, the end of the season will be the end of the regular season of the 2024-25 season. So at the end of the season, when 17 games are counted, whoever has the most wins will win a $100 Visa gift card. And just to announce, next week, I'm going to do a $25 gift card to the winner of that week's pick'em. Now, here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. To be eligible for that gift, you have to be on the live. You have to be on the live. You have to do your picks on the live, as well as send your picks to me in a DM or text messages, however you guys send them. But you have to be on the live. You have to be engaging in the live, especially on the pick'em hour. So if you want a chance to win $25 gift card next week, it's probably going to be, I might do a Visa, whatever, gift card. You have to be on the live to be able to win. So I have to see your name come up with comments on the live so that I can enter you in as a person that's going to be able to win the $25 gift card. So don't be scared. Don't be watching in the background. Don't want to be, saying anything. I mean, you can get a free $25 gift card, and do what you want with it. Can help you out, gas, tolls, whatever you're doing. Just be a part of the live to be able to win the $25 gift card. That is my show. That is my time. I appreciate you guys for being a part of it. Thanks for everything that you guys have doing for the show, for me, the support. I know you see the shirt in the background. I'm trying to figure out a way to get more merch so that I can give it out to some of you guys and sell it to some other people. But again, I appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of the show. It's your boy Jamar Top.
Thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win.
What are we waiting for?
You know what you gotta do. Do it.
How you feel what's about to happen on this field, man?
They gonna get it to us. We got to take it.
They gonna black out. We gonna give them a black out. Stay together and keep fighting. Down. It's time to knuckle up. Do everything they move.
And it is urgent touchdown.
Brian Westbrook, he scored. Touchdown. And the Eagles win. The Eagles win. Let's get it to them all day. Relentless. Are you spirit? Are you power? Are you love? Give me what you got. Right here. Right now. If you ain't ready for a fight, go ahead and go home. Because that's what this gonna be for 4 quarters. A fight. We always win when we fight together.
That's how winning is done.
Now get out there.